Hello folks and welcome to another episode of Cycle Chat. Got with me today, Duncan McNutt. How are we doing, Duncan?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Richard. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Yeah, and you too. Yeah, great.
So can I start by asking you to introduce yourself and what is it you focus on your channel?
Right, okay, so obviously I'm Duncan McNutt and my channel name is Duncan McNutt, just my name, nice and simple. And really, it's just about me and my bike and what I get up to. So training, rides, in the garage, fixing it, or not in the garage at the minute, but repairs, stuff I buy, sort of product reviews. Yeah, that's it really. And this year's been a bit of a spanner in the works, hasn't it, with COVID and everything, but hopefully next year we can get a bit more normality.
I can see the bike behind you's got Christmas lights on it.
I did that deliberately today, ready for Christmas.
Oh, right, okay, so do you not ride that one?
This one's my best bike.
Okay.
I was out on this last Saturday and then I washed it and it's now put to bed for the winter. Yeah, it'll get a cushion over it and a blanket later.
So, how did you get into cycling then?
Oh, gosh. So I started cycling apparently when I was about 3 or 4.
Okay.
And I ride an old tricycle out of my neighbour's garden through the hedge at the bottom of the garden and pedal up and down the avenue with it where we lived. Didn't have a saddle on it, it had a really rusty chain, and I'd drag it through and pedal this round, and then eventually they gave it to me and my dad did it up for me, painted it, put a saddle on it, and I rode that for years until that snapped.
Oh,
and
no.
then my dad got that re-welded at work, put back together and rode it again, and then eventually sort of graduated from 3 wheels to 2. And I've been with 2 since.
Have you always cycled then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
There's never been a period since then when I've not had a bicycle.
So what can you tell us about your first like 2-wheeled bike then? What was it? Can you remember?
It was yellow.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas present. I don't know how old I was. I can't remember how old I was, but it was a Christmas present. And it came from Frank Hayes' toy store in Ramsbottom where we lived. And it was a Puck. It was a French bike. It was a Puck.
Ah.
And I remember it being yellow and it had dropped bars. But other than that, I don't remember a lot about it.
So have you ever ridden like professionally or
No.
that?
So I've not ridden professionally. I mean, I've only just done amateur stuff.
Yeah. When did you first get into that sort of riding then? What sort of age would you have been?
I didn't join a cycling club until I was 24, 5 maybe.
Yeah.
It was quite late on before I joined a cycling club and actually started doing any form of racing.
Yeah.
Because cycling wasn't my main sport, I just did it for fun.
Was this time trials and
Yeah.
things like that? Yeah.
Cycling club that I joined was a sort of an old, long-standing cycling club, and they did road races, they did track racing, and they did time trials. And somebody that I knew locally just dragged me along to a time trial, and then the rest was history, as they say.
Yeah. You done much hill climbing then? Where was this? Ramsbottom, did you say?
No. So by this time I was in the Midlands.
Okay. Was many hills around there?
In Warwickshire. I did do hill climbs, yeah. So, but we had to travel to the hill climbs up into the edge of Derbyshire. Starcop, we used to ride up, used to race up that.
Familiar with that.
And, what was the other one called? It'll come to me in a bit.
What is your favourite part about going on the bike? Is it the hills or is it the people you see, the route? I don't know.
So many bits of it. It's the freedom.
Yeah.
It's the getting out and feeling the wind in your hair.
Yeah.
Speed. Coming down descents. I love descents, fast descents. But I also like going up, and what goes up must go down.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah.
There's so many things about it. I love the people that you meet and the characters and the cycling. So for a long time, I've worked next door to an old bike shop, and I've got a very good friend who owned a bike shop from 1970 until he retired 18 months ago. And I used to go into his shop. I used to hang out in his shop when I was trying to hide from work. And we get all sorts of characters on in old boys, and he'd have a little stool, a bit like I'm sat on now. It's a wooden stool, and he'd pull this wooden stool out and plonk it down at the back of the workshop.
Yeah.
And you'd get these old guys coming in that were 80 odd, and I'd just stand there talking to them and listening to all the tales. And you get people coming from America to see him, and just all over. And that's just what I love about it, is the characters and the tales. And our club president was a chap called Bob Maitland, who'd ridden in the Tour de France, and that's where I got my trying to ride the number of miles on my birthday as my age from, because I remember him and his friends doing 80 plus miles on his 80th birthday or whatever.
That's a good idea. I didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
I had my birthday in November. I didn't do anything like that.
My son was 20. My youngest son was 20 on Monday, just gone, 30th of November. And he went out and did 20 miles for 20 years. So he started early.
Wow.
Good, it's great.
So in all your travels and or the cycling you've done, have you ever bonked? Can you remember your first time you did that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
quite a lot. The first time I bonked was, I was in the Scouts. And for some reason, I think we did it for charity. There was myself and a couple of other lads that I went to school with. And we decided that we were going to do a 100-mile ride up through Glossop, over the Snake Pass, towards Sheffield and over the Strines, and back down Woodhead Pass and then back round. And I managed to keep up with them going over the Snake Pass and over the Strines, but I lost them once you get onto the far bit of the Strines before you get to the main road. It starts to get quite windy, and I took a wrong turn and I ended up completely going off in the wrong direction. And lost the support car, because we'd got a support car with us, and bonked severely. And the leaders eventually managed to find me, and they put me in the car, fed me a Mars bar, got me to the top of the hill, by which time I'd recovered, and then put me back on the bike again, and off we went, and then cycled all the way back. So yeah, that was the first time I'd ever bonked, and I was probably about 15.
It's an awful feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, numerous occasions since.
All right, tell us another one then.
My last one is actually, the last one that I can remember is in one of my videos where I've done one of my 100-mile rides. Not this year, so it'd be the year before, when I was trying to do a 100-mile ride every consecutive month for 12 months.
Yeah. And
I'd gone down into the Cotswolds from Birmingham, and I think I'd got less than 5 miles from home and bonked. And had to sit down in the road. And I just had to consume my emergency pack of jelly beans. They're completely gone. I couldn't even do that last 5 miles.
So early this year, you had a bit of a fall. Can you tell everyone a little bit more about that, and how are you now?
Well, that was just one of those freak accidents that happen when you're not concentrating. So I've been out on a ride. I'd probably done 50 miles. I've got 3 hours to do. And I've been out, come back, past my front door, and looked at the watch, and I've got another 3 minutes to do, or 4 minutes. So I just looped round, and I was not concentrating and not watching where I was going, and looking at the view and stretching my neck. And I just got caught by a gust of wind and blown off, and just went smack on the tarmac and did, So I broke 5 ribs, punctured lung, broke my collarbone, and broke the right bit at the end of the elbow. And so I had to have surgery on my collarbone and my elbow. So
this was back in the summer, wasn't it? This
was in July. I think it's about 19 weeks since I had the surgery. And I'm back on the bike and back on the road and riding, but I still can't pull on the bars yet. So I can stand up and not pedal.
Yeah.
But I can't stand up and pull on the bars yet. So any climbing that I do is seated climbing at the minute. So it's starting to get rather frustrating.
For those that don't watch your channel, you live in the Lake District now, don't you? So that must be quite difficult. Not being able to go up, win laps, ride it differently, or hard not pass, and some of those more difficult climbs where you have to get out.
No, I can't get hard not pass at the minute. I just won't be able to get up at the minute.
Yeah.
I can't even get up Honister at the minute. I could go over Kirkstone. I've been over Winlatter Pass, and I've been over Newlands Pass. but I just have to sit down. Which
It's a little bit longer, Duncan, doesn't it? You just get to enjoy the view a bit more.
Yeah, when it gets to 25%, it's not easy trying to sit down and pedal.
No. Everybody struggles, don't they?
Yeah, it's second nature to just start standing up when it gets that steep.
Yeah. So with you living in the Lake District as well, there's probably loads of people out there who are quite envious or jealous. It's really a good place. I've been there on a holiday. So what would you say your favourite part of the lakes, or can't you tell us? Is it a secret?
My favourite loop is from here, where I live on the coast, inland. So as soon as I leave my front door, it starts to get hilly. Obviously, I'm at sea level. So then we start climbing up straight away. And it's a loop towards Buttermere, then turn left and go up over Newlands to the bottom of Windlatter, and then back over Windlatter and back down to here. And it's just under 50 miles, but obviously I can do another little bit of a loop and quite easily get it to 50 miles, and that's
round up a bit at the end.
I don't know what it is in feet, because I do everything in metres and kilometres these days. I think it's about 1,400 metres of elevation for 50 miles, which isn't bad, really.
No, it's not bad at all, is it? For many parts of the UK, that's mountainous.
Newlands Valley is just spectacular. And riding that loop in the first lockdown when there was nobody about, it's just glorious.
You've not lived in the Lake District very long. Would this be your first winter?
Yeah. I came up last Christmas, so I've been here pretty much, give or take a week or two, 12 months now.
So it's going to look, if there's lots of snowfall, it's all going to look very picturesque.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's been today on the hills in the lakes. Obviously, being coastal, we tend not to get that much here. We tend to escape it, but the hills cop it every time.
You might find you're going to have to ride on the coast a little bit more.
Of course, which you will know on your side. It's always windy.
And hopefully you won't get too much snow, because you can't go up there when it's too snowy and icy, can you?
No, well, I'm meant to be doing a hilly ride on Saturday, and I've just been looking at the forecast.
Yeah.
And Buttermere and Moss, the forecast on Friday night is -2, and at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning to be still at 0 and only get to 2 degrees all day.
And maybe snow up there and drizzle.
No, I don't think I'll be over there on Saturday. Gritty roads. Yeah. Don't want to fall again just yet.
No, of course, it's not worth the risk, is it?
No, absolutely.
So, what are you in training at the moment then, or because you seem to be quite? You always seem to be shouting out the numbers and things like that. Yeah. Are you working towards anything next year?
Well, yes. It's a goal that was put forward. It was meant to be a goal for this year, so I was training for the Fred Whitton this year. But of course, with it being cancelled like so many other events, I'm training for it still for next year. So it's a brilliant event, but even if people don't get in, it's a brilliant route to ride.
Yeah.
The only dodgy bit of it is the A66. If you don't set off early from Grasmere, it can be a busy road. But it's a good road, it's a good wide road, and it's quite a large, when they have, it's not proper cycle lane, but there's like I won't call it a verge, but there's a bit down the side of the road where there's a white line dividing. That's quite good, and it's quite a long stretch of it. So it's just beautiful scenery, and it's great cycling countryside. But it's massively oversubscribed every year because it's such a popular event.
And this is the one which includes the Hard Knot and Rhinos Pass.
So you start with Kirkstone. Then you go over Honister, Newlands, Windlatter, and then it does all the ones at the back that you don't hear of, so like Cold Fell and lots of other ones. Then it goes over Hard Knot Pass and Rhinos, and then there's another kick because you turn left and go over another small steep fell that's 25%, run back in then, but it's the support that you get from the locals on the road and everybody else as well, which is brilliant. So yeah, I'm training for the Fred Whitton still for next year now.
It sounds like a long day on the bike.
Yeah, it's a long day on a bike, and it's 112 miles, but it's 3,900 metres of elevation, and it's not so much the cumulative elevation that's the repeated 25% plus climbs. All of those climbs are very difficult going up, but they're also very difficult going down. So you can't go absolutely flying down them because it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
So you can't get the speed going back down that you've lost going up.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful going down, like Hard Not Pass. It's dangerous, isn't it?
Hard Not Pass descending is more frightening than going up it.
I'm glad when I did it, I was on my new bike because it's got disc brakes.
Yeah.
New brakes, I can imagine it'd be awful.
Well, the last time I did the proper event, I had a puncture going up Rhinos after the descent off Hard Knot, and it was basically just a puncture from the rim brakes overheating the rim and the going pop.
It's better that the tyres go flat than you something happened to yourself, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean every year in the event, people actually get injured and stuff.
So you was telling me off camera earlier you've got a coach as well. What can you tell us more about your coaching style? What is it your plan and things like that?
My coach is Josh from JD Performance Cycles, or I always get it wrong. JD Performance Cycle Coaching, and it's just an online coach. He's based in Prague, I think, and he's a UK guy, but he's just out there. And he just puts everything, schedules all my workouts onto Training Peaks for me, and then I just download them and off I go. Usually I have a 3-week block and a rest week, and occasionally I'll have a 4-week block and a rest week. Occasionally 2-week blocks and a rest week. It just depends where we are in the season and what the aims are and what the goals are. So obviously following my injuries, to start with, it was just a case of get back on the bike and start pedaling and start to get some fitness back. Then we did a test week, and then everything's based from there. So for instance, tonight, once I finish talking to yourself, Richard, I'm going to jump on the turbo behind the camera on Zwift, and I've got a session to do, which is about an hour and 11 minutes. So there'll be a warm-up, and then some VO2 sessions tonight. 4-minute long VO2s.
No rest.
No rest. But because my background is competitive swimming, because I've always used to training with a coach, I just like having a coach. The first cycling club that I joined, we had a cycling coach, but of course everything was not, back then it wasn't online.
Yeah. And
because he was probably, I don't wish to be disrespectful to the man, but he was probably, late 60s, 70s at the time, and he did everything by letter or photocopies, Yeah, so it's completely different now. Then I went through a phase mid-2000s, early 2000s, where I had a coach because a lot of triathlons. So I had a triathlon coach, and then I only stopped doing triathlons 4 years ago, maybe. I gave up running because I decided that it was too bad for my knees. I like doing triathlons, but I can't ride my bike if I do that, because if I go for a run, I hobble for the next 2 or 3 days because I've got bad knees.
Ouch, yeah. My question, obviously I'm going to be training for the Transcontinental race next year. Yeah. It's not that far away. And obviously I'm questioning, do I need a coach?
I just think you need to ride your bike. It's time on the side, isn't it, for your sort of thing?
Yeah, it's not about necessarily how fast. It's just comfort and
consistency.
Faff less and all those sort of things.
Yeah. I think, for you, a coach isn't going to be that valuable, I don't think, because your thing is going to be consistency, isn't it? And you're going to lose more time, I'm sure, with the time off the bike, like you say, from faffing.
Yeah. It's a different beast. It's a different beast altogether.
Yeah.
So we were talking about winter just a moment ago. We're getting close to Christmas now. Do you take part in the Rafa Festive 500? Have you got any plans this year?
Yeah, so I've done the Rafa Festive 500.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
It is, for the last 3 years. I want to do it this year, but this year, of course, it's on Zwift as well, isn't it? I can't decide whether that's a good idea or not.
It's not. It needs to be outside. Don't count otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to do it if I do it inside. I want to do it outside.
That was the old point. That's the old point of Rafa Festive 500.
But I've got 2 issues now. One, I've moved further north, so the weather's worse. But then I've also got my injuries at the minute. So I'm at the minute finding with my elbow that if I ride my bike outside for 3 hours, it keeps me awake the following night, and it's still sore the day after.
So you've got 8 days, haven't you? I'm just trying to work out 8 days.
8 days to do 500 kilometres, which works out about, it's either 58 or 59 kilometres a day, and it's about 37, 38 miles a day if you do every day. You want it to be not windy,
Yeah.
not icy for me, because I don't want to be falling off. I don't mind fog and I don't mind rain.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a go, but that's the point of it, isn't it? It's a challenge.
You can always mix it up and do a bit of both, half and half or something.
It's a challenge, exactly, with what your work commitments are, what your family commitments are, and what the weather's like. It's not meant to be easy.
It's not. Nobody else really cares about that accomplishment. It's very much
exactly
your own sort of challenge, really, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, there are some daft people, which you might fall into that category, that try and do it in one ride.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. There's one which goes out of there's a Festive 500. It takes place every December from Bristol. So I may well be doing that. I haven't decided yet. It depends on the weather. And I might do it differently. I might go cycle down there, meet some of the riders and things like that. I don't know yet.
I think that's amazing to be able to do. But I've done long rides. But if I do a 200 kilometre plus ride, I'm dead.
It's hard in winter as well. It's such hard.
I'd be the same in summer. My problem is fueling. I seem to be able to. I get to a certain point and I just can't take on any more fuel. I've been like that for a long time.
So we're going to move on to something different now. It's a bit of a game. It's kind of a series of questions of this and that. So, for instance, I might ask you whether red or blue, and you'd perhaps say
red.
It's questions like that. It's just this or that, and it's against the clock. You got 60 seconds, and what we'll do, we'll just try and get through as many as we possibly can. It's a bit of fun. Right, so we've got 60 seconds against the clock. Are you ready, Duncan?
Yep.
Okay, riding hills or riding on the flat?
Hills.
Indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Work hard or play hard?
Work hard.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
70s or 80s music?
Ooh, 80s.
80s, yeah. Toilet paper, over or under?
Sideways.
Sideways, okay. Got 30 seconds to go. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Cups in the cupboard, are they right side up or upside down?
Right side up.
Oh, everybody's saying right side up. I pull upside down. 20 seconds to go. Hard knock pass or the struggle?
Hard knock.
Road bike or gravel bike?
Road bike.
Kendall mint cake or Cliff Bar? Got 5 seconds.
Kendall.
So we're getting one more in. Local bike shop or Wiggle?
Local bike shop.
Good, correct answer. And we're out of time.
Good.
Well, hey, so that's just a bit of fun in there.
Coming back to the gravel bike.
Yeah.
Gravel bike is just a cyclocross bike, really. I don't like the term gravel bike, but that's a different subject. No, I don't.
They call it adventure bike as well. That's another term out there, isn't it?
It's just a cyclocross bike.
A remarketing exercise.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Duncan, we'll perhaps talk about your channel a little bit more. Can you tell me how you got into it?
Right, so we've already talked about the Festive 500. I first got into my YouTube channel with the rather Festive 500. I'm struggling saying it again. In the Christmas of 2017, 2018, because they wanted you to document your journey.
Okay.
So those really were my first consistent videos, were the rides I did to get to the 500 kilometers over that period. And then I just carried it on, mainly because I was doing it as a record for myself of the rides that I was doing. And of course, then it just carried on from there, as these things do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a similar story. It was just a bit of an experiment, really, and a way to, like a scrapbook of memories. Yeah. You could watch it back and things like that. I didn't really expect it to go anywhere. So now your channel is established. Can you share with viewers what sort of creative process you might put into some of your videos? Where do you get your ideas from, and what kind of things have you learnt along the way?
I wing it.
You wing it, okay?
Wing it. Yeah. I don't really have any particular format that I try and follow at the moment. With what's been going on with me moving up here and work and everything else that's going on in the background. In the past, I have tried to have sort of a similar sort of theme thing that I've tried to do on my channel every month, like those rides that I was doing visiting different areas of the country, or the 100-mile rides that I was doing. But at the moment, because I've not got that, because I'm mainly training for the Fred Whitton, that's sort of gone by the wayside, because that's secondary and it's not happening at the minute. And if I feel like talking to the camera, pull the camera out of my pocket and talk.
There's lots of content creators like myself, lots of other channels I watch who are in a similar situation this year where all the events have been cancelled.
Yeah, it's very
difficult to be trained for anything. So it's like, what do you put on your channel?
Yeah, exactly. It's a difficult one this year.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the same for all the channels, hasn't it? You know, you'll see that with a lot of people.
They've had to do something different. Since you started, what things have you learned along the way?
How to edit videos. Yeah. I mean, I've always kept a record, so my own back catalogue, if you like, and they're just in chronological order. So it's relatively easy to find something if I need to. Other things I've learned, this sort of thing, for instance, so trying to have a bit of a set and a background lighting and not have background noises and video production stuff, I suppose, isn't it, really?
You're having to bring a studio into your own house.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I probably will do eventually as well, which I've not done yet, but I keep thinking about doing, is getting a green screen. Yeah, just for the future. So
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I've really learned anything in terms of cycling wise.
Are you getting your green screen just in time for Christmas, so you don't have to do after Festive 500 outdoors?
No. No, absolutely not.
Okay. So looking back over your numerous adventures since you started the channel, which would you say has been your favourite adventure and why?
I think two probably stick out in my mind, and I'm not sure which is the best, but it either has to be the 2018 Fred Whitton, when I started the event but was ill, and halfway around I just wanted to get off the bike, but I still finished it. So that sticks in my mind because I was just ill and it was just a difficult ride. But the other one, I think, really is the 100-mile ride that I did in mid-Wales. And I went up the Devil's Staircase and through the Elan Valley and all that. And it rained the whole way around. The weather was horrendous. But because the weather was horrendous, there was nobody about, so it was dead.
Did this
I didn't enjoy it at the time.
Yeah.
But quite often these rides like that, where it's bad weather or something bad mechanical happens, they stick in your mind, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Did you see much of the scenery on that ride?
No. Yeah, the weather was bad. But I remember that ride.
Have you done much cycling overseas?
No, I've cycled in Ireland, Southern Ireland, and I've cycled in Wales.
Yeah.
And I've cycled in Scotland. I haven't cycled on the continent or anywhere else. And that was something I wanted to correct this year, but haven't been able.
I'm hoping to perhaps go to Tenerife next year. That would be a nice holiday.
You have cycled in the Netherlands, haven't you? Though,
I have. That last June, and it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, you don't really cycle on the road there though. You cycle on the path, which
right.
is.
Right.
But you don't mix with traffic. It's an amazing, experience that. So what you got coming up on your channel over the next few weeks or into next year?
It's going to be whatever manages to happen. I am waiting for a few more things coming through that I'm meant to be trialling. I've got some longer term reviews to get back to filming now that I've had some products that have been sent for a fair period of time. But other than that, it's just going to be winter riding in the Lake Districts, I think. There's not really a lot I can do at the minute, with it being dark out there and windy most of the time up here and horrible.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on the turbo a lot.
I think it'll be the same for lots of channels over the next few months.
Yeah. I've got to rebuild my bike that I crashed on, so I've got to go and get that because that's been away. So I'm going to get that a week tomorrow. So then I've got to put that back together. Just wing it.
So finally, Duncan, a question I ask all the guests on this chat is: how many bikes do you own?
I think I've got 8 at the minute.
8?
Yeah, 8. So I've got the one that's behind that one. I've got the one that's been having some paint work done. I've got my winter bike, so that's 4. I've got a Doors Galaxy. I've got a track bike. I've got a cyclocross bike, and I've got a Doors Audax. So that's 8.
Do you ride them all though? I mean, are they all in working condition?
Yeah, they're all in rideable condition. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You haven't got a gravel bike though, Duncan.
No, I've not. I've got a cyclocross bike.
Ah, of course, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to race cyclocross, so I used to have 2 cyclocross bikes. I sold them. So the most bikes I had, I think, was 12.
Wow. So you got 8 right now, and you can all ride like all of them. So that's pushed you to the top of our leaderboard then, Duncan, for Christmas.
For the moment.
8. I wonder if anybody else has got more than 8 bikes.
10 plus 1, isn't it?
There's always room for one more bike.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, hope you enjoyed Cycle Chat this week with Duncan. It's great to have him on the show and listen to about his ventures, and looking forward to his channel next year and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions for myself or Duncan, just put down below the channel, and we'll see if there's any questions for Duncan. He'll answer them for you. So for me, take care. I shall see you again soon. Ta-da, bye-bye for now.